But it's time to go to two of our top casters. They've got the call today. Let's get into the action with Cameron and Matrim.
Thank you so much, Toffees, and thank you to Alienware and Toomey for sponsoring everything that we've got going on here at PGC. Plane path coming in very southern, all the way up into the north, but I mean, with a western lean into it, Cam.
Quite a western lean, yeah. But, you know, Miramar, I don't think this is going to really upset anyone too much, except for maybe the coastal teams. We might see one or two B drops from the teams over there, but for the most part, this is not the worst starting plane path for the day that we've seen. Like, we've gotten some really rough ones that have just been, like, straight on the corner, just, you know, ones that I wouldn't... Never mind, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to give these players any ideas.
Well, I've kind of got my eyes drawn, as many people do, to KPI right now. We know the fact that KPI is a very frag-heavy team. Whenever they get themselves into one of those positions, we know the fact that there's very little fear in these guys, and they will go for a fight if they find the opportunity for it. The desk was talking about it based off of positionings and loot. It is kind of surprising the amount of successes that they've been seeing, given the fact of how difficult some of their rotations could be. But, no surprise, we're already back to multi-circle gaming versus VP, Power Grid staying in contention.
Yeah, listen, these guys, they're apparently not big fans of our early game discussions or the game banter because they just want to make us get right into the action right away. Some good weapons being picked up. I'm seen by both squads.
Circle?
With the circle like this, I mean, I could say this might give both these teams some inspiration to leave early, but we know that's not going to happen. After that match, I don't know. I'm starting to think that maybe they'd want to change it up even for the next 4 games. Here, GNL bombing in on the SSG. Oldest is there with the front hold. It's both him and Sharpshot to get the initial knocks, and this is great because remember, they're already down a man.
Oh, this is just well played coming out from SSG. Gonna flank around this one, and there you go. GNL down a very early. KPI now caught up with Jin G. It's going to be Emmy using the vehicle for a little bit of cover. PO coming through on this one. We know the fact that PO can have a very strong performance inside of it, but look, 3 members down for Jin G. It is just PO at the time trying to retreat. Emmy has gone down, but the other 3 members from KPI know exactly where PO is. Sure, he's a dangerous guy to peek, but that is a strong numbers advantage. And what can you do if you're PO other than just cling to life and see if maybe you can pick up a kill?
This is rough. It's not just been a rough weekend for Gen G. This is still just a terrible situation for PO to find himself in. Good spray on the Capitan. Gonna use opportunity to try and rush forward a little bit, but no cover. It got close. One more bullet would have done it. Back onto SSG. Still trouble for them. They're trying to send it closer inside the circle, but Adder is gonna be here. Listen,
I mean, they just drove into him weak.
Adder had a lot of opinions about the American teams in that interview that we just saw.
Beamy playing this very carefully, looking right at Luke right now. Direxi's on the other side. I mean, Luke's just caught out. Pinta does get a return knock into Beamy. Now it's just going to be about how Heroic wants to play this one. 2 members down on the low end for this one. Direxi does have a little bit of an angle to play from, but he doesn't want to overextend just yet. There is a lot of damage that has been dealt to TSM. Finally finding out one of them has to be very cautious though. Play the other side of it, looks in, does get the damage into Pinta, does get the knock. So now it's turning very, very problematic. TSM knows it, steps up, gets the counter knock into it. Now it is just Paige, the last one up, already spotted out. TSM moving up the hillside, trying to get a little bit of separation around. They know the fact that they can make a play around this hill, around this rock, use it for cover to make their approach. Spots it out. Paige is in a lot of trouble right now. Does go down, and there you go. TSM does find their way into the safe zone, but now the circle is shifted away, and they're going to have to continue this run, potentially running into another team. And Ince's Rustenmar slow creeping up into this one, very aware of the fact that there's probably going to be a threat here. DraftKings, though, look at this. It's just going to be a directed convergence right where we're going to be able to see all these teams line through. Diggory does get the knock. Big unleashed. It's coming out from there. So now let's see how Balefrost, the rest of the team, can handle it. Rustamar does go down. KPI now get involved inside the fight. At range, it's also going to be TSM, who loses one of their members. Alo out in the blue right now, already low on life. Tiksu now making his way up inside of this one. Going to try to spot out the member KPI. That's going to be DraftKings, but no! Rolls back down in there, and that's going to be Ince being eliminated. TSM in a lot of trouble. Oath in a lot of trouble. And Fury hears it and trying to counter move. They should be able to spot this one. At least Kickstart getting the knock onto one of them, eliminating TSM. The KPI is trying to bring 17, though. they're just going to be rolling right over here next to Buriram, and I think that this is the call. Try to get a little bit of high ground, just toss a couple of things into it early, see if you can get the knock. Looks straight down into it. Little Ghost gets down on him. God Meow looks down as well, gets it down on Edie, so big turn up as 3 members for Buriram. Very quickly down. 17 now very aware of where Kanaxi is going to be at, and Kanaxi has to be cautious. If he moves too far up into this, he could be right into the sights of Ghibli. Already sitting at 7 kills right now. That's a good amount of points moving in, regardless of how you look at it. Even if they don't manage to get any placement points all considered. Multi-Circle Gaming does lose another one of their members. It's going to be Danawa that has a very firm contested area for it. You're just seeing them clinging to life right now. And this is just a domino effect of what was going on with the VP fight from earlier.
The problem is, they can't have all 4 focused on clearing MCG from inside their mid because they have Liquid pressuring the high ground members of Danawa, as well as Fury. Ronin gets a lot of damage, but pushed away by Liquid's angle as well. That grenade might be able to do enough, but doesn't seem to be going far enough. Liquid is going to be able to heal up. Rex actually dropping up from the high ground, so Luke goes down because 17 are trying to get into the mix as well. And, they're trying to retreat. They have no other option, but unfortunately, I guess the option is death.
I mean, Gravity, the worst enemy for Danawa. Soul in a lot of trouble. Circle at least does shift this direction. He's going to go and get spotted out. It's going to be Adder at range. Now just down to 1. Danawa, they had an idea, but the idea did not go well. Now very, very close to Team Liquid. Fury has been doing a good job on harassing almost every single team that's trying to rotate and has a strong position inside this, pretty close to the center of the circle as well. The problem with it is the fact they've been drawing a lot of attention as James is going to spot out the last Danawa member to take them down. Fury is got to be cautious with the amount of aggro that they have drawn. A lot of these teams are eyeing them and are very close to position. So Fury, while they have a strong point to play, I'm worried that their aggression might come back to bite them in a moment. Lingdu dodging out what he can as it's going to be Show that's going to be very close to Lingdu, just waiting through. He's going to cook it pretty well. Might roll a bit too far, but at range, it's going to be Team Liquid that spots him out. Ronin does go for a play as well, but gets spotted out, and this is getting to be problematic specifically for Fury. They chose to be the aggressors in this, but a very nice reposition coming out from Team Liquid is giving them the space to work with, while they do have 2 members in a dangerous close position.
Like Mugao is grouped up. It's supposed to be a 4 versus 4, but Liquid, they're able to take both fights, both angles. You saw Mixie take down 17, and they're winning this. This 2-hill pronged approach that Liquid are having on the defense, too close, too far back, is very successful against Fury. Now they're just down to 2 players, not a single kill to work with as well. Make that 1. It's all into Waikakumukao, and he's gonna get taken out at the same time. That 17 remove Buriram, get the final member out of the lobby. 5 teams remaining, and it looks like Ghibli want to try and make it down to 4.
I mean, yeah, 17's in a lot of trouble. At least getting some damage in what's going on, but I mean, there's just too many Ghibli members to work with. They've got cover as well. With this, though, Team Liquid is getting some harassing shots into them, and so now Ghibli's finding their own set of problems and are having to be forced into a much closer fight than they were expecting just a moment ago. 17 Gaming does go down inside of the skirmish. Lingdu very far to the north, the last member up for MCG, but notice KPI has been the beneficiary for all of these secondary fights and managed to sneak into a very strong position. I mean, KPI, this is such a dictating fight for what's going to be happening in the rest of the circle. KPI does get the opening knock onto Clib. That gives them a little bit more of a reposition to work with. Now, DraftKings in a very vulnerable spot and seems to be aware of it. Silzen's going to be providing the cover for him at range. But Team Liquid doing a much longer stretch around. James is going to spot out, take him down. Quick flush as well. KPI now in a lot of trouble. It's going to be Emmy at range, and that's about it. I mean, he can't even get close enough to put in any form of assistance for Silzen or maybe even get the res. So it does look like we're seeing the lineup starting to be Ghibli in the low ground and Team Liquid with the high ground.
Yeah. With Ghibli being taken down to 2, Liquid have a heavy chance to win this engagement. Teams they should know there's a member of KPI left.
Yeah, and
Please tell me someone's coming with them. Little spray comes out. Good drop. Second swing.
Oh, gets 2 of them down. Now Team Liquid is on damage control. They're having to very quickly go for this one. It looks like Adder has a read on it and is moving very quickly. He knows that he has to be very careful from the high ground. Spots out EB, but he's going to be the one that takes the damage onto it. Lingdu, yet again, being the nemesis to anything that Ghibli is trying to provide, but he's also spelling his own doom. Team Liquid now getting the reses at a key moment based off of Multi-Circle Gaming's positioning. Now it's just him and Lambu, the last ones up, other than Team Liquid sitting at 3. I'm going to go for every single play that I see that is potentially viable. And looks like Lambu is going to be the next play inside of that. Nice little toss. Going to go ahead and force him out of cover. But uh-oh, Lingdu, you were going for the peek under that one, and you were the one that had the cover. Gets spotted out. Now Lambu, he's going to get vision on as well. And there you go. No surprise. Team Liquid coming up with a big game for themselves.
Respect my mind, no die from last year. I pray my dick get big as the Eiffel Tower, so I can fuck the world for 72 hours. Goddamn, I feel amazing. Damn, I'm in the matrix. My mind is living on cloud